everybody, Indigo Priestess here. Okay, so everybody knows that I do a lot of invocations. I speak to a lot of entities, and one of the entities that I really enjoy speaking to is Belial, and he often shows himself to me. We've got a really close bond, as I do with many other ancient gods, but Belial, it took a while, but there's a very strong bond between us, and I can connect with him, in a blink of an eye, and he allows me to, which is fantastic. There are many other entities that don't allow you in immediately. They want to see your perseverance. They want to see, do you really desire this to speak to me, or do you only desire this to seek material goods? So it was really awesome, being invited by Belial years ago. And when I done an invocation recently, I like to get a lot of knowledge from these amazing entities, and a lot of people would disagree, but most of my knowledge doesn't come from external work. There are some things that obviously you can learn from another sorcerer, and but most of the work is what I get from the entity itself. So a lot of you know that I sit in my invocations with a book and a pen. If you don't know that, now you know it. Okay, so I decided to write down, before I done the invocation, I had my witnesses as well, just to help me and intensify the invocation. I was told that I need a book and a pen. So I grabbed the book and the pen, because even though, yes, I said most of the times I go into invocation with a book and a pen, there are maybe a few occasions where I will just go into to just purely connect and become one, and just to feel their presence. So yeah, I'm gonna read the message that I received from Belial, in a way that I could understand. Most of these entities will speak. So let's go for it. I cannot work with but one, but with all. The voices you hear are of those who are simultaneously invocating me right now. So when I done the invocation, I heard voices. Most of them were female. I think more males need to start invocating as well, please. And let me go on and read this. I work with all, as I, like the other ancient ones, are omnipresent. So if you don't know what omnipresent means, okay, let me read on. And are able to be with many at one time. So they are able to be with many people at the same time. And I thought, wow, this is interesting, after I read over it, because I'm not fully there when I'm writing this information down. But yeah, let me continue. Do not doubt my power, for you will see the greatness that is still to come. I cannot guide you unless you seek. I am not me alone. Okay, so this is when it started getting confusing for me after I read what I wrote down. But let's go ahead. I cannot guide you unless you seek. I am not me alone, but many others who exist at the same time. I was like, okay, I know this can be hard to understand, but the soul knows exactly what I am talking about. The human soul, as you are divided into many groups. And so it takes many forms, yet it is your energy, the incarnation of what you are right now, cannot fathom this. But as I said, the soul knows. This can be explained why time does not exist. You are living many versions of yourself at the same time. This can easily explain why I keep saying time does not exist. Sorry guys, I wrote this down really all over the place. You can imagine, I'm in a trance. So many existences are happening at the same time. So what Belial is actually telling me is that even though I'm living as Bianca, Indigo Priestess, I am living as somebody else, my essence, at the same time, because the soul can divide into many parts. I know that this can be a bit much to fathom, but basically this explains relativity of time for me really perfectly, which means, you know, if you are living as who you are right now, there's another part of you that is living as another individual, experiencing that which it already knew but had to experience. Obviously, guys, I will explain this more in detail. I know so much, and I know this can come across the wrong way, but I really know so much that the information becomes overloaded, and I am only able to give off that which they desire for me to give off at the time. Okay, so let me just go over it really quickly. Relativity of time to me makes much better sense now. As I always heard the word relativity of time, I always knew that time does not exist in the spiritual realm. I know that we are all energy, we are vibration, which is amazing, expressing itself and using matter. So when vibration comes together, it forms matter. Okay, it goes really deep. I can explain to you on another video and explain the cosmos and how it works. But basically what Belial is saying is that you are living out different experiences all at one go. So I'm sitting here as Bianca, but I'm living out another experience as someone else. And this is exactly why some people remember who they were in past lives, including myself. So even though it feels like it happened thousands of years ago, it's all happening at the same time. If you step out of the way that society wants us to think, you will totally understand. And this is why many kids of today, they considered indigo children. They are completely misunderstood because they are tapping into other existence. They are tapping into past lives. And you know, they are being treated for all these different ailments. But if you really understand that the situation goes much deeper than physical, you are able to treat the situation and help your child. You know, the same goes for adults. You know, these type of topics gets me really excited, and I want everybody watching this right now to dig a little deeper into what I'm discussing. I'm encouraging that because knowledge is power. Whether you do it through invocation or whether you do it through external information from other people who are awakening or very enlightened, do this because you can gain so much information, so much empowerment. Because as you remember this, as you gain this knowledge, your soul is remembering and you're tapping into something much deeper. So an awakening begins during this process. So knowledge is power. On this plane and on a spiritual plane, because it awakens the subconscious, let's just say, of the soul of your mind, and it's so empowering. So I encourage all to go this route and to study, get as much information. Do not have any form of fear. Fear is up here. Okay, when you have fear, you know that you need to push through it because there's something really awesome waiting on the other side. So I really hope that I explained that well and didn't get too overexcited, which I normally do, about what I get from these amazing entities. Guys, you are missing out if you do not work with these amazing ancient gods. Just go forward. I hope this video, you know what, the video helped you, great. If it didn't help you, you know what, move on to something else, or just try and learn more about it. But yeah, relativity of time, you know, living many lives. I thought that this kind of rounded off the whole situation for me, because as I told you guys, I knew that time doesn't exist in the spiritual realm, but I now totally understand, and I understand that our energy, that we are energy, expressing itself through this form, through matter. Obviously, when energy comes together, it forms matter. Okay, you can start to see it, and that energy can break up into many parts. So guys, you know what, let me get on to the next topic. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope this encouraged you to work with ancient gods, and stay blessed, stay cool, don't be confused, and if you're confused, ask questions. It's really good to ask questions, and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Love you all. Bye.